Hey, Jacques here. In this video, we're going to look at color styles and color variables. We're also going to look at typography and how we can also add typography styles to our design. In our previous video, we also looked at how we can add assets and components, dynamic components for that matter, to our Figma design. And this video is part of a full video series where we are currently creating a home automation app. And I'm also showing you everything from the beginning to the end. And at the end of the video series, I will also show you how we can put it together in prototype. All right, so in the previous video, we created our beautiful assets and components. So if we navigate to the left-hand side, we'll see them. We also created variants. So some of our icon buttons have a few variants, which is great to use. But in this video, we are going to focus on colors, we are going to focus on styles, and we're going to focus on typography. Again, this is all part of creating a full-fledged mobile app that you can showcase to project sponsors or developers, and we're going to add some prototyping, as I said. Let's go ahead and create a frame. I'm just going to click on the frame button. We're going to drag it onto the artboard. And as always, I am very particular as to spacing and margins and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to resize it for now. And I'm going to rename it to color styles for now. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to lay out the different colors that I'm going to use throughout the design. So just to kind of recap and let's have a look. This design has a few colors. It's not a lot. We do have a background color, which is a off grayish color. We do have another gray color on our tiles, and we have a white color. We have dark color, and we have this primary color, which kind of looks like a gold color. So I want to go and create my color palette or my color styles to kind of replicate that. So to do that, I'm going to go back to my frame and I'm going to drag just a little square. And again, this is my way of doing this. This is my way of doing it for so long. There's different ways of doing it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it over here. I'm going to add just a little bit of a border radius to it. And I'm just going to make it 80 by 80, and I'm going to constrain the width and height so it's consistent. And then we are going to select our little color picker, and we're going to select that goldish color that we have. Now that we have that though, I'm going to navigate back to my layers and I'm going to call it primary color. With the primary color now selected, let's go ahead and create that style. So in the full area, we're going to click on style and we're going to hit the little plus button. You're going to see another pop-up appear and we're going to give it a name and a description. So I'm just going to call it primary and I'm going to say primary color. This is great for if you have multiple designers working on one design prototype, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a description. So let's go ahead and hit the create style button. And now you can see that in the libraries, we have the primary color, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to do is add a secondary color. Now, this specific design doesn't have a lot of primary, secondary, tertiary colors. It's pretty straightforward when it comes to colors, and simplicity is key with any type of design. But I'm going to start by adding this gray background, which is E3, 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 E3. And we are going to add that as perhaps the secondary color. You'll notice that I've duplicated the first rectangle and we're going to use the second rectangle now to add the secondary style color. To do that, we are first going to detach this specific style and we're going to add the style that we selected. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter, and that is our secondary style. So I'm just going to go and rename it. So we're going to call it second color. You can call it secondary color, whatever works for you. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hit the little plus button and we're going to create a secondary color. I'm just going to call it secondary, and in here for the developers or project sponsors or other designers, we're just going to call it secondary color. All right, once we've done that, we are going to go ahead and create the style. Now you'll notice that if you click anywhere on the canvas, we have two color styles. So it's really starting to come together. Okay, so let's go ahead and add more colors. The next color I want to add is the dark color. We are going to just select either the text or the icon, whatever works best. And we're just going to copy this color. And we are going to go back to our color style frame. I'm going to hold in Alt and Shift, drag over, duplicating our other rectangle and I'm going to detach this color and add our new color to this box. All right, so now we can see we have the dark color, and I'm actually going to call it dark for that matter. So I'm just going to call it dark. I'm going to say dark color. And everything that I normally do is I do it based on the Bootstrap model. Bootstrap is a great framework to use. I normally stick to it though, especially when you start taking a design and putting it in development for front-end websites. It's a little different when you do an actual mobile app development, but we'll get into that in future videos for sure. Okay, so now when we click anywhere on our canvas, you'll notice that we already have 3 colors. So we are definitely getting somewhere. We're definitely getting to a place where we can reuse our colors throughout our design, which is perfect. All right, now the next color I'm going to add is this off gray. And to do that, I'm just gonna select my tile, and we're gonna go ahead and duplicate this rectangle by holding an Alt and Shift. I'm gonna detach the color. I'm gonna add the new color and add a new style. And I'm gonna call this one light. And we're going to hit create style. Perfect. So now we're starting to see that we have primary, we have secondary, we have dark, and we have light. Now that we have 4 colors, let's see if there's any type of colors that we need to add as well. Well, I can see off the bat that we need to add the white, of course. White's pretty simple to do, pretty easy to do. So I'm gonna go and duplicate, Alt and Shift again, duplicate this bad boy. We're gonna detach it. We're gonna make it white. You're not gonna see anything, which is fine, that's fine. And we're gonna add another style. And once we're done, we're just gonna hit create. And now we have our color styles, which is perfect. With that, I'm going to add auto layout just so that we have something that looks a little better. And now we have our color styles right here, which is exactly what we wanted. Now that we've created the color styles, the next is looking at typography. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a frame. So I'm gonna drag a frame on the artboard as per usual. We're gonna look at our different types of typography that we are using. The main font I'm using, which is one of my favorite and I think most people's favorite, is Roboto. So we can see that we have Roboto here. Typography and fonts are super crucial with any design. You want to keep it simplistic. You want to maybe use a maximum of 1 or 2 fonts in a design prototype. You don't want to overcomplicate it, because if you overcomplicate it, it just looks cluttered. It doesn't look great. So make sure to only use 1 or 2 types of colors, in my opinion, of course. With the font selected, I can see that this is Roboto, this is semi-bold, and it's 26 pixels. So I have a big heading here at 26 pixels and a smaller heading at 16, which is pretty standard, 1 rem. And this font being 24, also semi-bold. I normally like to go through the entire design just to check what kind of fonts were used. But if you do this properly from the get-go, you're not really gonna do this part. You're gonna know what type of fonts you're going for. Okay, so I can see that these fonts are also semi-bold, but it's 18. And we have another medium 18, and so it goes on. This one is 14. So it looks like we have 26, 16, 14, 21, 24, and 18. All right, so what we're going to do next is I'm going to copy this font and I'm just going to drop it in my frame. I'm just going to call this font stack. This part you don't have to do. You can just directly add the styles into the actual font that you have selected. But I, again, like to be consistent. So I'm going to drop this font right here and I'm going to change the color. And now we're actually going to change our color to the ones that we already created. So I'm just going to change it to dark, and I'm going to change the text to heading 1. All right, so we have our first heading, which is perfect. So now what we can do is click on the style and we can create a new style, and I'm going to call this heading 1. And you can call that primary heading in the description perhaps. So there we go. We have our first heading. Now I'm going to add the secondary heading, which I believe is this one. It's 21. I'm just going to copy it. And I'm going to drop it in here. Just going to drag it right there. And I'm going to change the color to dark again. I'm going to change the wording to heading 2. And we're gonna go and create a style. And we're gonna call it heading 2 and maybe secondary heading. Again, this is all up to you. Okay, the third heading, I'm gonna copy that guy over. We're gonna drop it in here. And I'm going to change the wording to heading 3. We're gonna go and add a style, heading 3, third heading. Whatever works for you, right? Whatever works for your design or your development team. The next one I want to do is this one right here. This won't really be a heading. This will be more a paragraph than anything else. But we're gonna put it in here. I'm gonna drop it, and I'm just gonna change the color to dark, and I'm gonna call it paragraph. Copy. Perfect. So now we have our paragraph copy. I'm gonna add a style. I'm gonna call it paragraph. Copy. We have our text styles, which is H1 to H3, and paragraph copy, which is perfect. I'm just gonna add auto layout to this, left aligned. Just gonna navigate over here. I'm just gonna drop it right there. Now we have our font stack, we have our color styles. This is perfect. We're starting to put together a design that is easily usable and that can be used throughout your entire design process. This was a rather quick video because this is all part of a video series where we're creating this full home automation app. And in the next video, we are going to actually start creating this weather widget. We're going to create this weather widget. I'm going to show you how to do it in auto layout. I'm going to show you how to add the effect in the background. All right, so that's it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will be dropping a next video going into this in more detail. Thanks for watching.